Oh boy. Can you hear me? Hello, nerds. All right. So I was having some technical issues, and now I'm having a different technical issue. So just a moment. There we go. Hi! Hello, nerds! You can hear perfectly. Okay, good. I don't know what that was all about, but there it is. Welcome to... what is this? The second, technically, stream for the new year. As we are nearing the end of the... off season, all of my preseason stuff is coming to a close. I'm going to be doing, I think next week will be another off week, and then if everything pans out the week following, we will be back to regular schedule. So it's getting very exciting. I just have a couple of stock pieces that I need to get in place, and so it's going to take up a lot of time next week. So that's where we are at. Since we are starting about 10 minutes late, I do apologize. I also have a little bit of food in my hands, so I might chomp a little bit. I again apologize in advance. But we do have all of the time. Music is not coming through. Oh, maybe it is. I was just looking at the wrong dial. Okay. We're talking about most anticipated for 2023. We're going to do this in order of the regular scheduled program. Meaning, I have a document here. And we'll try and look stuff up as we're talking about it. But first thing will be music, then gaming and tech, comic books and literature. That's one of the changes that's going to be made is how I title these sections, though it's going to be basically the same information for each section, just titled a little bit more appropriately. So comic books and literature, then episodic content, i.e. streaming and television. Then we're going to talk movies, and then we're going to find our way off into left field and talk about all of the things in any of those sections that is a long shot, but I'm still hoping for. So that is the way this is going. And, you know, we'll be stopping and talking to chat as per usual. So basically what it is that last section is going to be, instead of rumors, we're going to be talking about things that likely won't happen, but potentially could, and that I'm very excited about. So, and that you should be very excited about. There's plenty of things going on in the nerd world that we are going to be talking about. Let's start things off in music. Yay! So we'll make the music sections. I gotta check my time. What's my timestamp? 17:30. We'll make the music sections, or the non-attract sections, I guess, relatively short, because I know everybody's going to be wanting to listen to the. Uh-oh, did I bump the wrong thing? No, did I hurt myself? Okay, we're good. Everybody wants to talk about movies and TV shows, so that's honestly why I put them at the end. But we'll get there, I promise. So, music section, the most anticipated bits for music this year. So, and also, I guess another formatting thing for tonight. I feel like some of the things we're going to be talking about is going to lead us into news. So, again, I will do my best to pull things up so that you're not just staring at my beautiful face all night. But, yeah, there's going to be things that we talk about that is going to get us into the news. And that's why we're not also doing a news section like I originally planned. I was going to do news for half an hour and then most anticipated for half an hour. And then my most anticipated list got gigantic. So, yeah. All right. So, again, I'm rambling and meandering, and now we have to get to the music section. So, starting in music, the first thing is Rammstein. Like, no ifs, ands, or buts. The first big thing in this section is, without a doubt, Rammstein. So we know that Rammstein, I'll see if I can pull them up while I'm talking about it. We know that Rammstein is working on new music. They have said so very explicitly. And there is not another band that I get more excited about. Like, I get equally excited about certain bands, but Rammstein is just one. And I think it's probably partially because they don't put out music that often, so the fact that they're giving us a new record already is pretty awesome. They gave us that what is that? Oh, that's from October. Yeah, they gave us that Goodbye video, which we did the reaction for. And that was great, and I dug the song, and I dug the video a whole lot, and so I'm very excited about new music. So I'm going to try and not ramble this much. Next on the list is Job for a Cowboy. They are putting out their new record this year. I don't believe a release date has been made for it just yet. But are you getting double audio there, Chris? I feel like the music looks like it's doubling up. It seems to be coming out of two audio tracks. Is that happening? Let me know in chat. Anyway, Job for a Cowboy hasn't put out a record in like 12 years. The last record they did put out is not the greatest. Let's put it that way. So I'm very intrigued now that now that deathcore is a thing again. Is it going to be back into what we know from their first couple records? I'm pretty sure they put out the 3. Either way, Job for a Cowboy is working on new music. Music sounds fine. Okay, good. Job for a Cowboy is going to be putting out new music, and that's pretty awesome. Our next piece on the checklist is Slipknot. This one is, I honestly probably could have gone in the final section, the out and left field stuff, because this is not going to be a proper Slipknot record. So when they were doing, I believe it was Volume 3, the Subliminal Verses, pretty sure that's when it was, when they were recording in the Houdini Mansion. Clown and Corey and I want to say Jim and Joey. I could be wrong with the grouping, but I know at the very least Sean was part of it, and I'm sure Corey is too. But the other players from the band, I'm not 100% on. They did a side project while they were in the studio for a Slipknot record, and they finished recording the side project. There was never any announcement as to whether or not the mixing and mastering had been done to it, but I mean, at this point it's been a number of years, so I would imagine by now it's been done. And they called that little side project Look Outside Your Window. Now it's been described by Sean in recent interviews as very different from Slipknot, and at the time it was described by Corey as a lot more I think he used the term easily digestible. So very different from Slipknot. So sounds like it's going to be like Slipknot's take on radio rock, maybe? Something in the vein of maybe Stone Sour, which I find very strange. But yeah, that is supposedly going to come out after Slipknot's tenure at Roadrunner Records has come to an end, which is April. So sometime after April 1st is when we very likely will be seeing this weird side project from Slipknot. Next is Death Clock. Again, no release date set for this, but we do know that the guys from Death Clock, i.e. Brendan Small and company, not the cartoon characters, but Brendan Small and such, they are, and apparently Loudwire is not the greatest site to have done this on. Let's go to Metal Injection. Let's go to search Death Clock. Is it just, yeah. So we do know that Brendan Small is in the studio with some hired musicians, drummers and such. Looks like Death Clock is in the studio, see, as of December. And who was the drummer? Why did I just forget? Gene Hoglan, there we go. Gene Hoglan posted that he was recording with Brendan Small. What else could Brendan Small be doing in a studio with Gene Hoglan? Probably Death Clock. We do know that the Death Clock final movie is going to be coming out. We don't have a release date for that yet either, but I think that is potentially 2024, so it would make sense that they wanted to do the music now, kind of get some promotion for the movie in advance. So sometime this year we will be seeing some new Death Clock, some Metalocalypse action all up in your stuff, and insert things here. The next piece is the Big Six. Oh yeah, this is a super group. So again, like I said, this is going to take us to some news pieces. So this is a super group that includes members of Attila, Fit for an Autopsy, Left to Suffer, Infant Annihilator, Traitor, and Lorna Shore. Dickie Allen. Dickie isn't. Where is Dickie? I don't see Dickie. Oh, it must be a different Dickie then. Oh, because it's... I'm thinking a different dude. Anyway, yeah, so this is... They're calling themselves the Big Six. It's very likely going to be some more deathcore stuff. I'm honestly, at this point, anything that I get from Fit for an Autopsy or Lorna Shore, Traitors, I can take it or leave it, but Lorna Shore, Fit for an Autopsy, any combination of those guys is going to be great. I dig Attila as well, but not quite to the same level as those other two guys. Never heard of Left to Suffer, can definitely do without Infant Annihilator, but whatever. Yeah, so new supergroup going to be putting out new music in 2023. Then, super excited, Bleeding Through is currently in the studio. Bleeding Through, metalcore band from the aughts into the teens. And they put out an EP, if I'm remembering this correctly, last year. It might have been the year before. It might have been in 2021. But they have made it known that they are also recording new music, and said new music is set to come out. I think there's actually a release date for this as well. They're definitely on tour. Oh, no release date for this one either. But yeah, when they released that EP in, yeah, it was last year. Cool. It was early last year. They also said that they're in the studio working on some new music. So super excited for Bleeding Through. One of my favorite bands from that time frame. Another of my favorite bands is August Burns Red, from that era of the musics, of the heaviness. August Burns Red just finished some touring. They just finished their annual Christmas concert, which was a 2-day thing that included a whole bunch of heavy hitters from the metalcore community, and now they're blessing us with a new record. That new record is called Death Below. It comes out in March, on the 24th of March, and just really super excited, not gonna lie. Also announced a tour with Devil Wears Prada and Bleed From Within. That tour kicks off in February, so they'll be on tour when the record drops at the Fillmore in Denver. Where is... Yeah, Death Below, March 24th, record features, guest appearances. So that is what that Ancestry song comes from, that features Jesse Leach from Killswitch Engage on vocals. Great tune. I'm super excited about new music from August Burns Red. Moving right along. Next, we are talking Gojira. We're going to check in on chat first. All right, nothing crazy is going on now. So, Gojira is also, they gave us a single last year as well. They didn't specifically say, at least as far as I can remember. Come on. There we go. As far as I can remember, they did not specifically say that they will be putting out any new music in 2023. But if they're in the studio, so to the point that they have released... oh Lord, we're gonna check that out. That they released a single, then it would make sense that they're gonna be putting out new music. Isn't rushing back in the studio. That comes from December. So Duplantier, Joe Duplantier this time, not Mario. No. So he's saying that they're not. What is this? For writing an album, I think it's important to have something to say. So if you're recharged, you might repeat yourself. Or if you're not recharged, you might repeat yourself or record songs in a weird state where you can't hear anything because your ears are shut. It could be dangerous to produce bad albums. That's a good way of looking at it. Though, again, they did record a new single, so it's not out of the realm of possibilities. And Mario, the drummer brother, is... releasing stuff like this on his YouTube, which I'm not going to play because we're streaming, but if you haven't seen this, it's pretty badass. This obelisk thing here in the background is an actual drum that he uses in this crazy solo, and there's a whole story behind it that he posted to his Instagram, so if you're interested, go check it out. But that is the Gojira bit. And then to round out the music section, we have two tours that we're talking about. One of them is happening now, and I'm super excited as they announce more and more dates for this. But Pantera, the reunion, whatever you want to call it, tribute tour that's happening right now is very, very exciting. I have seen some stuff from Zakk Wylde as far as his performance of Dime's parts. That's a little shaky, but I have seen plenty more that is very, very delightful, I guess we can say. So I'm hoping that the delightful bit stays with us and we get a little bit more. And as far as drums go, I can't think of dude's name, and we're gonna just move on. But the drumming so far has been, as far as I've seen, again, checking live videos and people's cam stuff, it's a little difficult to tell. Harder on drums for sure. But it seems that everything is going as planned on that side. So the other tour is Rammstein. I know we opened this section with Rammstein. Now we're closing this section with Rammstein. Rammstein, I believe, is on tour. Is going into 20... Oh, no. They're finishing up the record, and then they said that they're going to be announcing tour dates. That's what it was. So that tour, I'm very excited. They don't usually hit a whole lot of dates in the States, so I'm super hopeful that they hit one that's close enough to me that I can drive and I don't have to take a whole day off of work for it, or you know, a whole extra day off of work for it. But... yeah, very excited. That is the music section. I'm going to roll on over to chat right now. Only one active. That is Mr. Christopher Ortiz. Do you have any albums or musical events that you're looking forward to for 2023, sir? Let's talk about that for a moment. And I'm going to be... I'll pull up the next bit. Next up is going to be... oh, good Lord. There we go. Where'd my notes go? Gaming and tech, baby. Gaming and tech. So. Yeah, gaming and tech. All right. Oh, no. You can't see it. Look, gaming and tech. Hooray. So, gaming and tech, this is a big one, I would say, for the nerdy types. Let's pull up IGN. No, let's pull up Engadget. Let's go there. I like those guys a little bit better. Add to the notes real quick. 33. So gaming and tech bits that we are looking forward to, as far as what I'm looking forward to again here at Generally Nerdy, we have YouTube monetization is going to open up a lot next month. So in February, small itty bitty YouTubers like myself are going to have a couple of options as far as what we can do to pull in something resembling monetization. It's not exactly monetization, but it is options for people who watch this stuff actively to support small little baby channels like mine. So that's pretty exciting. I'm looking forward to those possibilities. Not that I'm anticipating making a whole lot of money on it, but still, it'll be fun. So then the first game that we're talking about is the Dead Space remake, coming out next week, January 27th. Dead Space, one of the scariest damn games I played back in the day, and the only thing I think that made me jump more than Dead Space when it was out was the Resident Evil Code Veronica, or Resident Evil 4. Well, I think kind of both of those. Resident Evil Code Veronica was on my Dreamcast, and then RE4 was GameCube, and that one had 4 college-age dudes screaming like little girls. But yeah, the remake for Dead Space looks incredible. It is made by a different studio this time. Let's see if I can see it real quick because it's not in my notes. But Motive Studios. Motive Studios is who's making it this time around, because the original studio is no longer part of the EA umbrella, if I'm remembering correctly. Because they're the ones that made the Callisto Protocol. But I think I'm confusing my pieces. Either way, super excited about it. I'm looking forward to the gruesomeness and the quality scares. Sadly, no music that you're looking forward to. That's unfortunate, sir. Next on the list, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, coming out March 17th. The game that this is the sequel to was a whole lot of fun. I really dig Cameron Monaghan. I really dig this little side story. It's one of the little gems of more recent Star Wars that's worth hanging on to. So hopefully the continuation of said story is going to also be great. March 17th, again, is when that one comes out. Don't have a whole lot more to say there, because we're moving over to Resident Evil 4. The Resident Evil 4 remake is also coming out in March 24th. Again, this game had 4 college-age men screaming. Like when you get to that church and the dogs, it's the first time you meet those dogs that have the tentacles that pop. Oh my god, we seriously came up off of the couch, all 4 of us. It was ridiculous. Resident Evil 4 remake, March 24th. So far, the remakes for Resident Evil have not really been bad. I don't think any one of them so far has been bad. So, yeah, definitely looking forward to that. Let's pull up Justice League Kill. Not Justice League, Suicide Squad. Good lord. Suicide Squad, kill the Justice League. Kill the Justice League. So, this game got pushed back last year. Now is coming out in May. Well, it was May 26th, yes. May 26th. We have this is where the Gotham Knights game launched and was supposed to be the successor to the Arkham series, even though it's made by WB Montreal and not made by Rocksteady. They were billing it as such, and that game really fell flat in a lot of ways. This game is made by Rocksteady, so this is more the proper successor to the Arkham games. I don't know. I don't even know where to start with this game. It's going to be very interesting, to say the least, because there's so much weight that this game has to carry because the Arkham series was so well received. And it's also the final return of Kevin well, I don't know if it's the final. As far as like releases go, I think there might be something else in the can, like movies-wise, with his voice in it. But very probably this is the final video game that Kevin Conroy will be voicing Batman for. So again, lots of weight on this game's shoulders. So hopefully it does well. I'm very excited to see what's happening. Let's move next to... oh, wow, we're already there. Street Fighter 6, June 2nd. Oh, my gosh. Everything that keeps coming out about this, honestly, has me a little bit more hype for Mortal Kombat, but we're going to get to that, than previously. But... Street Fighter, I can spell. Street Fighter 6, baby. All right, so Street Fighter 6... modern controls. So they're going to be updating the control scheme apparently for 6. Just the new art style I'm totally digging. The creative fighter thing, while I don't think it's going to be super comfortable, I think there's going to be a lot of bugs with the creative fighter, opens up the possibility of interesting machinima going forward, because I mean that you're gonna see a lot of people mod the PC version and whatnot. It's gonna be very interesting, and I really dig. I really like doing creative fighter stuff anyway, just because it's funny to see all the crazy stuff you can make. That was really the only thing about Mortal Kombat Armageddon that I really liked. The story was okay, but as far as like gameplay goes, creative fighter was where it was at. So yeah, super excited for Street Fighter, just because every new iteration is really fun to watch. I'm not as big a Street Fighter player these days as I once was, but I do like to watch the tournaments and stuff and see what happens there. The other thing, and this one almost, because they keep screwing around with it, should probably go in left field, but we're talking about I'm sorry, I'm going to say it wrong. Starfield, not Starlight. Starlight's something else. Starfield, the first Xbox exclusive Bethesda game, coming directly to current gen now. I keep wanting to say next gen, but current gen console, so Xbox Series consoles, and just very it looks like a weird amalgamation of their previous properties of the Elder Scrolls and Fallout, because it's looks like it's like fantasy-esque in an Elder Scrolls-y kind of size and storytelling mode, but then it's also science fiction, which gives the hint of Fallout, but it's in space, so less Fallout, maybe a little bit more oh, and now I'm going to brain fart the name of that game too, so whatever. But yeah, super excited about Starfield. When Bethesda's on it, they're on it, and it's good stuff. When Bethesda misses, they miss hard. So that being said, I think there is a strong possibility that this is going to either be a dumpster fire or the next Morrowind, the next game that everybody plays for the 20 years to come. So yeah, very interested. Let's move on. There is one, I didn't put it on here, but it should be on here, and that is Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. I think that's what it was. I've somehow left it out of my notes, so I don't remember. Legend. Let's look at Legend of Zelda. Spell. Come on, hand. There we go. Tears of the Kingdom. Yeah, I was right. So this one is launching in May as well. We have May 12th of 2023. This one is another one that has a whole lot of hype built behind it because this is the Twilight Princess, or Breath of the Wild, rather, version 2. This is the continuation of that story. It's going to be awesome. Or it's going to really piss off the fandom, and then Nintendo's going to have a real big mess on their hands. And they kind of already have a PR nightmare going on, so yeah, very interested to see what's going on there. And then our final piece in gaming and tech is, of course, Mortal Kombat 12. So I really want to, I don't know if I'm going to get around to it, but I really want to make a whole video about what I know is going to be happening for Mortal Kombat 12. I will put it into a piece over on Kamidogu, so if you're interested, I will let you know when that goes up. But Mortal Kombat 12 is is like 90%, 98% likely the game that NetherRealm is going to be. Oh, did I just screw that up? Oh no. Oh, and I haven't even done the... Oh, see, I'm slacking, man. Slacking. I should be here. In the wrong window. Anyway, Mortal Kombat 12. So with the Warner Brothers Discovery merger and all of the nonsense that's going on there, it stands to reason that because of the uncertainty of licensing and such going forward, and also with James Gunn being the be-all, end-all of DC outside of the comic books, then it kind of stands to reason that there's not a whole lot of confidence going forward for NetherRealm Studios to make an Injustice game, which would be, under other circumstances, under other circumstances, would be the next game they're making. Since that's the case, though, their only other major IP is Mortal Kombat. They're not announcing a new IP this year. That has been a big rumor amongst the community, and that's super not likely, especially if you've been following the Ed Boon AMAs that have been going on Twitter. It just doesn't, none of the logic tracks in order for that to be a thing. So Mortal Kombat 12 very likely is going to be announced sometime soon. Everyone's saying sometime in February because of the way the last AMA went. He seemed to really be emphasizing the numbers 2 and 3, which again, assuming I get around to making the video, I'll go into greater detail of why that is, but really it just breaks down to 2023 is when the announcement's going to come. So that's what we got. I'm super stoked about it. There's no other game that I will be more like. I'm gonna buy a whole console, assuming that Mortal Kombat 12 is only on current gen and they don't release it on the Xbox One. But I'm going to be buying a console for that game, so that's how much I'm super hype for Mortal Kombat 12. So that is what we've got for gaming for the my portion of it. So I'm going to again mention this into chat. What are we looking forward to, chat, for 2023 as far as gaming and tech news goes? All right, so on to the shortest bit for this, and that is comic books and literature. So comic books and literature, we actually have a piece that's going to be out in left field for this one because we'll get to that. But as far as like things that I'm super stoked on coming into 2023, there's not a whole lot, man. We have Lazarus Planet, which is the next big Marvel event coming from Mark Waid, coming out of all of the Krakoa craziness that's going on right now. Fall of X will be coming. Let's look that one up because I think there's now a release date for it. There wasn't when I took the notes, but there should be now. Where am I going? Comicbook.com, I bet. Search button. Did I fix? I'm totally slacking. Whatever. It's not on the screen right now. So searching for, what the hell are we talking about? Sorry, ADD moment. The thing with the stuff. Oh, Fall of X. That's right. Fall of X. See if there's a release date for it now. I'm pretty sure there was. New Marvel timeline reveals Summer of Symbiotes. Mapped out, blah blah blah. Summer of 2023. So Summer of Symbiotes, Sins of Sinister started in December. Cold War is going to be starting soon. And then Summer of Symbiotes, and where's Fall of X? What the hell? Come on, meow. Love this. There we go. Through to Fall of X. So at the end of summer. It looks like no specific date was given just yet. But we will be seeing Fall of X at the end of summer. And then the other book that I was looking forward to was Sinister, which we just talked about. So there we go. That's all we got for comics. Oh, and I didn't even take the notes on that one because I'm a dummy. We'll call that 45. All right. So, that being said, the next one is the first one that most people are looking forward to. Ooh, what were we? Sorry, I totally just missed out on that. Mortal Kombat 12 for sure. I'm right there with you, bro. So, in movie news... Oh no, movies is last. Episodic is next. So TVs and streamings and such. We have a giant list. A lot of this is returning stuff. So the returning series we'll touch on. We probably won't spend a whole lot of time on, but we'll talk about a fair amount of this. First up on the list, I'll pull up the window again. Oops, we can stay at Comic Book because they'll have stuff here for it. So first on the list is Fall of the House of Usher, the final Netflix series from Mike Flanagan. This is going to mark the end of his contract. Sorry, notes again. This is going to mark the end of Flanagan's contract with Netflix, and then he's going to be switching over to Amazon. That is going to mean that he's going to be giving us the Dark Tower series over on Amazon. House of Usher. That was a news piece that's it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago that happened, and again, we're in the off season, so we didn't really catch it because it was an off week for us, for the off season even. But I don't want an ad. Don't show me the ads. Hype's final Netflix series. Yeah, there we go. As a grand curtain call. Ooh, Mike Flanagan is going to Amazon Studios. And so the weird thing about Flanagan switching over to Amazon Studios is Amazon is not the ones that own the rights. If I'm remembering this correctly, somehow strangely, Flanagan is the one that has the streaming rights to the Dark Tower series from Stephen King. So... I don't know how that's working out, why he had to go to Amazon. Maybe Amazon just wrote him a better check because his contract with Netflix was up, and he's shown his ability to tell a really damn good story over on Netflix, and so Amazon just said, all right, let's do this. But either way, this is going to be the final, and this is not a proper Haunting of series, so we probably aren't going to see all of those actors return for House of Usher, though we have talked about casting and stuff for it before. I'm just not readily recalling it. So yeah, Fall of the House of Usher, super stoked about it. I love Flanagan's series work. Kind of hit and miss on his movies, but I love his series work, so I'm very excited to see what's going on there. Our next one, for this is another one that, honestly, this one could have gone into the left field stuff, because this very probably, I am highly anticipating this getting pushed back potentially to 2024, and that is Fallout, also over on the Amazon Prime. So Fallout on Amazon Prime is going to be helmed by none other than Jonathan Nolan, Christopher Nolan's little brother, and his wife Lisa Joy. You will know their names because they also did Westworld, which was canceled this year. So Westworld will not get to finish its story. Hopefully they have better delivery, I don't know, over on Amazon, because Westworld was great. Those first 2 seasons were fantastic, and then it really fell apart kind of hard, honestly. Like, I'm a big fan of finishing a thing that I start, so when they were releasing new series, I was still excited to see what was going on. But if you look back at it objectively, yeah, it was, those last 2 seasons were not as good as they wanted them to be. So Fallout TV series, that's casting stuff. We've talked about casting stuff. But yeah, Jonathan Nolan, Lisa Joy, very interested. We do know this is another piece that's broke since we've been in the off season, and I have not had an opportunity to bring up in stream. But we do know that the story for the Fallout series on Amazon is not going to be a rehashing of any of the games. It is going to be its own story, so probably taking place in a city that we have not yet covered in the canon of the games. But it is going to be in the same world of the game. So there is a potential that we can get some fan service and see some of those characters return from Fallout 3 and Fallout 4. Most likely. I doubt we'll see anything from 1 or 2. There's still a possibility probably that we'll see something from Vegas, some sort of callback to Vegas, but I would be very, very, very shocked if we saw any sort of callback to Fallout 1 and 2 in the movie, though it's possible. I mean, Jonathan Nolan is, again, Christopher Nolan's little brother, so he knows how to do some fan service. Yeah, that's what we got on that one. The next on the list, we have Star Wars Ahsoka. This is the only Star Wars thing I think I have on the list, which is saying something. I guess kind of sort of Rebel Moon is on the list, and that's kind of sort of Star Wars, but we'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, I think this is the only proper Star Wars thing I have on. Oh no, I take it back. Mandalorian. I'm stupid. But I don't know, just we know Favreau and Filoni are capable of doing amazing things. This is going to be another Favreau and Filoni series, so yeah, let's go. Let's do this. I'm totally here for it, and we're moving on to our next piece, which is Dune Sisterhood. Dune Sisterhood. We're gonna put that one on the search. Dune Sisterhood is going to be a prequel to the current Dune movies. I am a big Dune fan. I have read all 7 of the original books. I have started the prequel books. They're just not quite as easy reading as the original, I would say. Dune prequel series starting production. This was in October, so they're into production by now. We are very. Is there a November? I think that's the most recent one, November 22nd. Yeah. So let's see if they say anything about the release date, because I didn't have a release date in my notes. What is it about? It's about the creating of the what's the word? I'm brain farting. Bene Gesserit. There we go. So yeah, no release date for this one yet, though it is supposed to be coming out this year, probably sometime around when the movie comes out. But we're gonna get to that. All right, so our next one after Dune Sisterhood is Godzilla and the Titans. This is coming to Apple TV Plus. This is more, I'm not necessarily as like gung-ho about this series, though potentially there is going to be some awesomeness here, because Apple TV Plus has been putting out some jams. I tell you what, they're really rocking it right now. Foundation, so on and so forth. But the reason I have this on the anticipated list is because I just want to see what they're going to do. Because it was supposed to be Monarch. It wasn't supposed to be called Godzilla and the Titans. It was supposed to be called Monarch originally. Now they've changed it to Godzilla and the Titans. So are they going to work out a deal with have they worked out a deal with Legendary Pictures? Who knows? But they have the rights to do a serialized version with these characters. And it originally was not supposed to tie in to the Legendary Pictures version, but maybe it will now, because I don't know. The possibilities are really incredible. No release date on that one yet. There is a release date on the next one, though, and I don't have it in the notes, and I don't know why. So we have Twisted Metal is the next piece for TV streaming. The Twisted Metal series coming to Showtime. Pull it up on the search. Twisted Metallics. Oops. I'm screwing myself up. Twisted Metal, starring Anthony Mackie, coming to the Showtime. Trying to capture... Oh, that's right. It's switched. It's not Showtime anymore. It's Peacock. I'm sorry. It's going to be on Peacock again, starring Anthony Mackie. I thought they announced a release date for this. Iconic character Sweet Tooth will be portrayed by Samoa Joe Cianoa, with Will Arnett providing the character's voice. Weird. Nev Campbell also appear in the series. I guess I haven't looked at this one for a minute because I don't remember those casting announcements, but let's see if there's something a little more. I mean, November 30th, that was pretty recent. Yeah, nothing more recent than that. So no, I guess I was mistaken. No release date announced just yet for Twisted Metal, but it is supposed to be coming out this year. I think there was a time frame of fall given when we last were doing active research on this. So don't quote me on that, but I feel like that sounds right. Mayfair Witches is our next piece. Mayfair Witches is coming out next week, I think. Again, I don't know why I didn't put any of the release dates for the TV series in my notes. I put release dates for pretty much everything else in here, but no TV stuff. January 3rd. Mayfair Witches delivers... Oh, the first episode has already aired, apparently, because this is a review of it. Best adaptation of Rice's work yet. So this is the thing about Mayfair Witches. I honestly have not read... I started the first Mayfair book, but I did not finish it, nor have I read any other witches books from Anne Rice, so I'm not as familiar with the source material, so they can kind of do whatever they want, and I'll still probably dig it, as long as it fits in well. Oh no. Oh, breaking news. Oh Lord. All right, we're going to go look this up. I am being told that Jeff Beck has passed away. Jeff Beck, guitar player extraordinaire. Let's go to... hell, let's just search Jeff Beck. Guitar player for the Yardbirds. Where? Come on now. Give me. I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there. We'll go to Variety. That works. Jeff Beck dies at 78. Oh boy. Among the most innovative and certainly the most unpredictable of 60s guitar heroes, died Tuesday. He was 78. Oh man. He completed his tour with Johnny Depp. They did the 18 record, received 7 Grammy nominations over the years, and 8th in 2009 with for Herbie Hancock. That's incredible. That's crazy. All right. Yeah, I mean, 78's kind of old, but not that old. Shoot. Jeff Beck, you will be missed. That sucks. Okay, so yeah, a little music news in the middle of our episodic content. But yeah, Mayfair Witches, that's where we left off. Sorry, got sidetracked. Breaking news. Our next one, or our next two, actually, are a little less nerdy than the rest. So, bringing up the first, we have That 90s Show. Let's go back. Screw it. So this is the sequel series to That 70s Show. Here we go. So that 90s show is going. I believe they have everyone coming back for at least a cameo from the original cast, except for what's his name? I can't think of dude's name because he's in court right now for being a horrible person. And there's actual evidence of it, so it's not just a Me Too moment or whatever. He's not just getting canceled. Like, there's legitimate complaints against him. Anyway, so we have January 19th. So that's also next week. We'll be launching on Netflix, which is super interesting because Netflix doesn't have the best track record with reviving series or creating their own version of beloved series. Yeah, I'm super interested to see. So it revolves around Kitty and Red and their granddaughter Leah, who I believe is this girl here, who is the daughter of Eric and Donna from the original series. And then some of these kids are also the children of other characters from the original series. Like, I think that's a Kelso right there. But I don't think the rest of these kids are. Either way, it looks like Wilmer Valderrama is going to have something of a recurring cameo situation, and then everybody else is going to be making just little cameos here and there, which is pretty cool. Not going to lie, I kind of dig it. I'm very interested to see what's going on with this, just because, like, I heard about it a little while ago, and we talked about it on the show, and then it died for a minute. Nothing was coming out about it, and now it's finally launching. So, yeah, I'm super stoked. Our next one, again, not super nerdy, but super relevant to me, man, and that is Night Court. Let's see if comicbook.com has anything about Night Court. Night Court is getting revival. John Larroquette, who was in the original series. So the reason I love this series... yeah, they haven't really talked about it since 2021, and it's finally happening. I think the first episode aired already. But yeah, John Larroquette, who was in the original series. I love the original series because there was one of the few memories I have is from when I was a little kid, when it was on the air actively, is watching that show with my dad. In the second airing usually played really late at night. So yeah, we watched a lot of Night Court, me and my dad. And so, like, anytime it's on, like, it's on some of the free streamers, and so I'll watch it there. But really, that's the only place to watch it. I think it was on Pluto for a second, but it gets broadcast over bunny ears on one of the digital stations. If you're looking for it, it's only in the middle of the day. So on my days off are the only days I could potentially catch it. And yeah, but John Larroquette, again, who was in the original series, is coming back. He's the only one returning because, honestly, no, not the only one. We have Roz is coming back too, the security guard, and I think Bull is set to make a cameo, the other security guard, but I don't think he's going to be in the regular situation. Larroquette, I think, is the only one that's going to be a regular for the new series. Melissa Rauch, who you will remember from The Big Bang Theory, she was Wolowitz's wife. She is going to be the daughter of Harry, the judge from the original series, and she's going to be the judge in this series. So I'm super stoked about it. I really dig it. It is on regular broadcast television, so I'm gonna have to wait until it re-airs on Peacock because my bunny ears work like crap right now. But that's where we're at with that one. Our one last new series that's coming out in 23 is Gen V. This is the Boys spin-off series. I really love the Boys. This is going to be more of the same. Hopefully they can keep bottling that magic that they have and just keep good storytelling going with this, though I don't know a whole lot about the story that they're telling because I haven't read that comic book. So that's all we got on that. So let's get into all of the new seasons that we're excited about. Actually, before we do that, I'm going to throw over to chat one more time. What new shows, not returning seasons, but what new shows do you have on your most anticipated list for 2023? Let's talk about that for a moment. Sorry, still trying to get my dinner in. So yeah. Starting with good transition point. Gen V was the last new series, right? So it only makes sense. Oh, I got a pepper in my mouth. Oh, buddy. Only makes sense that the first thing we talk about for returning series is The Boys, Season 4. Let's see if we can find a release date for that bad boy. Come on, comicbook.com. What do you got for me? All right, so The Boys Season 4. Still no release date proper for when it'll come out, it looks like. This is January. Yeah, this is just a couple of days ago, and no release date set just yet. But it will be coming out this year, and it will be with Jeffrey Dean Morgan. So super stoked to see that kind of sort of reunion with him and Jensen Ackles. That'll be pretty awesome. But I mean, that one speaks for itself. We don't have to go into any more detail on that one. So our next returning series, already mentioned this one once, but Mandalorian Season 3 speaks for itself. We don't got to go there. Witcher, big controversy here. Witcher Season 3. This is going to be Henry Cavill's final run as Geralt. Oops, I'm spelling Witcher wrong. D. So Henry Cavill's final run as Geralt. And it's supposed to be a big superhero send-off for Henry Cavill, and we will see. There is very little that they can do, I think, to salvage what the community thinks of this series. So that's why this is most anticipated. Not because necessarily I'm super excited to watch it, though I am making my way through Season 2 right now. Very slowly, but making it through. I'm just not... I don't know. I don't have high hopes for the final season because no more Henry Cavill after this. So we shall see. Stupid bots. I hate you, bots. You go away. You go away and you die. Hide user from channel. You go away. Okie dokie. Okay, so sorry, derailed. Next is another one that's not super nerdy, but very quality. It's nerdy if you like really good writing. If you get nerdy about really good writing in your visual mediums, then Succession is one of those shows that just delivers every episode. Making my way through it right now. I think we're still in Season 2, but that's the interesting thing is not only can you kind of pick up an episode here and there, you do still have to watch them sequentially, but they do such a good job of keeping you informed of what's going on in all of the plots and subplots that if you don't watch them all back to back to back to back, you can remember because they tell the story so well. You can remember what happened in the last episode. They do give you the reminders like everyone else, but it's kind of unnecessary because it's just that well written. And each episode feels like it's giving you a lot more than is actually there because they're only like hour-long episodes roughly, and it kind of feels like each episode is like 2 hours long, not in any sort of bad way. It's just all of the stuff that happens and all of the information you get from each episode is so packed that it feels like there's more to it than there actually is. So that's why I'm super stoked about Succession. I believe this is going to be the final season. I think they finally it's been, I think, 2 or 3 years since they did the last season. But they didn't get to finish the story, so the HBO brought them back for one final season. And again, I could be making this up in my mind. I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure that's what I read, is that this is the final season. They get to finish the story, and I'm very excited to see what happens. Next one, super nerdy. Invincible Season 2. If you have not watched Season 1 on Amazon Prime, probably the best animated superhero show that wasn't intended for children originally around. Like, this is quality. It's so good. You really need to watch it, because by the time Season 2 hits, which we need to look up a release date for this, because Season 2, I'm sure they've announced it by now, but I just can't recall it. So Invincible. January 1st. Teasing big season news. The end of the month. Sweet! January 31st is when Season 2 drops on Amazon Prime. Very excited about that. This is just, it's quality. So, Jupiter's, what was that? The one on Netflix with Josh Duhamel. Jupiter Ascending, I think. Yeah, Jupiter Ascending isn't coming back ever. So this is a similar way, or similar kind of story that grounds these superheroes while also making them a little bit more fantastic at the same time. I don't know. It's hard to put into words why I love it so much, but it's so damn good. Very excited to see what happens in Season 2. Probably will keep me up at night when it launches. I'll probably end up watching all 8 or 10 episodes at once. I'm not gonna lie. So, getting close to the end of the episodic stuff we have next is Foundation Season 2. Honestly, still haven't finished Season 1, but there's no reason to not be excited about Season 2. Isaac Asimov's probably one of the most popular book series Asimov wrote. He wrote a lot. One of the most popular book series that Asimov wrote finally got its time to shine on TV. A little bit of changes that kind of didn't need to happen and kind of don't necessarily add anything to the story, but they also don't really detract, so whatever. I gotta finish Season 1 before Season 2 gets here. I don't think there's a release date for Season 2 yet, though it has been announced, so we'll double check that. But yeah, if you have not read any of the books, the first book is super short. So yeah, if you're curious, that's a great place to start, though it's also not super indicative of the rest of the series, because it was written as it's kind of a what's the word I'm looking for? A vignette kind of, because he wrote it in small chunks that were getting published in science fiction magazines at the time, and then he collected those small chunks and published it as a book. So there's definitely a little bit of a disjointed feel to the first book, but again, it's super short. You can read it in like 2 or 3 days. The rest of the series, it's a little bit longer each book. But yeah, so Foundation Season 2 trailer, which means there's probably a release date attached to this. Premieres on Apple TV Plus this summer. No proper release date just yet, but summer, so we have a window at the moment. Lee Pace is really great in the first season. I'm super stoked. Moving on, our next one, we're looking at another controversial one. It's Interview with a Vampire. Interview with the Vampire Season 1 really lost me for a couple of the episodes. I am a bit of a fan of the original work. I do still love this new Louis. I think that this is a stronger character than what Anne Rice wrote in her first book. the ending of the first season definitely doesn't set up the next season like the first book. I mean, I guess technically the first book didn't really set up the second book because then we change perspectives entirely, and it's told from Lestat's point of view. So, yeah, very interested. This one is a mismatch of interested because I love the source material, but also I want to see where the train wreck goes, because that's kind of how season 1 ended, was a little bit of a train wreck, not gonna lie. And then our final one for episodic content is season 5 of The Marvelous Miss Maisel. Oh my gosh, if you are a fan of comedy, if you are a fan of cinematography, if you are a fan of writing, this show, I don't care if it's written and directed and produced by the lady who did Gilmore Girls, it is top tier television. This is some of the best episodic content around. You owe it to yourself to watch this show. Season 5 is going to be the final season for the series. So that means the story that they've been teasing, the conclusions they've been teasing for some time, will all hopefully get wrapped up in this final season. Other than that, I don't know if I can sing its praises high enough or tell you how excited I am that this is happening. But there we are. That is the end of the episodic content, which means their chat. What are we looking forward to as far as TV shows for 2023? Any TV shows, returning or new or otherwise. What do you got for me, Mr. Christopher? Are you looking forward to anything in particular in the year upcoming? So that brings us to, and movies is not as long, but it brings us to movies. 119. Oops, wrong window. So movies, I have release dates for almost all of these. Some of them have not been, ouch, got a cramp in my leg. Some of them have not been officially announced, but most of them have. So, and honestly, probably going to surprise you how few superhero movies are in here. There are some, but yeah, not super looking forward to many of the Marvel projects this year. Just not the way it's working out for me. Some of them will be great, I'm sure, but yeah, not so much on the whole. So let's just start at the start and then take it away. My name is Simpson Bartholomew J. I do that way too much on the show. Infinity Pool starts us off January 27th. This comes from David Cronenberg's son. So the king of body horror, David Cronenberg, his son Brandon Cronenberg is I think this is his first movie, and he's got Alexander Skarsgård starring in it. It looks pretty weird in a lot of the same ways. Let's go to Variety for this section. But yeah, it looks weird in many of the same ways that his dad is weird. So I'm super stoked about that. But also looks slightly. Your search function is not working there, Variety. Let's go to Deadline. Let's see what Deadline has to say. There we go. Search function. There we go. So what do we say? Infinity Pool. Infinity Pool. John Malkovich, where Alexander Skarsgård. Why is your stuff so off? There we go. Out of order. What the heck, man? Malkovich, Alexander Skarsgård, Mia Goth, Cleopatra Coleman, and Todd Fields. Yeah, I'm very excited about this because I'm curious to see what Cronenberg's son brings to the table, because Cronenberg is such a unique talent that this is just going to be worth the watch just because. Next on the list, probably this one's mostly because of the shock factor, and that's Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey. Oh, January 27th is Infinity Pool. I don't know if I said that. Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey, single day release, February 15th. That is going to be the day that you can go watch Winnie the Pooh and Piglet murder some fools. Yeah, it's it's gonna be very interesting. This is strictly shock factor. There is absolutely no reason to be excited about this other than it's gonna be a hot mess. So yeah, Winnie the Pooh. Where are we going? There we go. Winnie the Pooh. See if there's a oh, I have a release date. What am I doing? Release date for this is February 15th. Then we come to our first... Oh, I'm in the wrong stuff. Winnie the Pooh. I said Winnie the Pooh. Fine. Enter. Really? Is there really nothing about... Deadline didn't cover Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Oh, boy. Okay. Oh, at least not in their search. I couldn't find it. All right, so next we're coming to our first superhero piece, and that is Shazam. This one will be here. Shazam, Fury of the Gods. Good Lord. Why do people suck so bad at writing code? I don't get it. Shazam. So, Shazam, Fury of the Gods comes out, what is it, March 17th. This is the only thing I'm really looking forward to for DC movies, aside from the Batman sequel. And that's not technically canon anymore, or never was technically canon. We're going to talk about the Joker, but Batman sequel's not coming out this year, so we're not going to talk about that. But yeah, definitely Shazam, Fury of the Gods. It was a lot. The first one was a lot of fun. It had its flaws, like most comic book movies do, but there's no reason to not be excited about the next one, because the first one was a whole hell of a lot of fun. That brings us to the news piece of whether or not we're actually going to see Zachary Levi return for a third movie or cameo or what have you, which also opens up the field for the conversation about James Gunn. There has been a lot of talk about what James Gunn is going to be doing with the DCU as he takes over, and James Gunn is gonna do whatever James Gunn wants to do. That's kind of the first thing we have to accept, is that there's nothing we can do to change his mind. He's just gonna do the thing, and we have to accept it. So there's that. But I am okay with that. The series, the properties rather, that he's going to keep in place are likely as follows. Shazam is probably the least likely of them, but though I do still think there is more likelihood it will stay than go, because it's relatively self-contained. There's a Superman cameo, but you don't see Henry Cavill's face, so that could be anybody. Peacemaker, we already know is staying. John Cena and James Gunn, I think, both have confirmed that Peacemaker will be staying. And then Suicide Squad will remain canon. I don't think that there's going to be anything from Suicide Squad aside from John Cena and, I just had her name in my head. I'm going to look it up because I'm a dummy. Let's check chat while I'm looking. Nothing yet? Yeah, I think Chris might have fallen asleep, guys. Oops, did I minimize it? I shouldn't have minimized it. Don't minimize. Oh no, I didn't minimize. What's the story here? Shazam. Viola Davis. There we go. See, all I had to do was distract my brain and then it thought of it. So, yeah, Viola Davis. Oh, I'm breaking stuff. And Zachary Levi, possibly, and John Cena are really going to be the only things that stick around. I think that I think that honestly is kind of a better, I don't know if it's better, but it's an acceptable way to do the reboot. Would it be cleaner? Would it be easier potentially if he just started everything fresh? Yeah, I can see that. But these properties are relatively self-contained. I understand that at the end of Peacemaker, we see the Justice League kind of come on screen. We see specifically, we see Jason Momoa's face, Gal Gadot's face, and potentially Ezra Miller's face. We don't see Batman at all, if I'm remembering correctly, and Superman remains in the shadows. I could maybe have those two flipped, but I think that's the way it went. So yeah, there is a little bit of stickiness there at the very end, but by and large, it's self-contained. It doesn't require the rest of the DC extended universe, or whatever the hell you want to call it up to this point, now that they've changed the name to the DCU. It doesn't require any of that to work. So that, I think, is why it's acceptable for him to keep it that way. Likewise with Suicide Squad, really the only person that matters in that is Viola Davis. Margot Robbie very likely will not be returning, very, very likely will not be returning as Harley Quinn, so we don't have anything to worry about there. And we already know the Batman debacle. We already know the Superman debacle. Kind of is what it is at this point. Nothing we can do to change it. So, yeah, I think because they are mostly self-contained, it is a little bit sticky with Suicide Squad. It is a little bit sticky with Peacemaker. But because they're mostly self-contained, there's nothing to worry about with these. And then as Blue Beetle comes out, I think we're going to keep what's his name, Zolo, who plays Jaime in Blue Beetle. I think that's going to remain because that also very probably is going to be self-contained. Because it's our first experience with this superhero, I think it's very easy for Gunn to incorporate these elements into his DCU going forward. Is it, again, the most clean option? No, probably not. But it's acceptable because it's self-contained. I think that's probably part of the reason why some of the other things are not moving forward is because they're too reliant on the rest of the characters that are getting canned effectively. So yeah, that's kind of my take on that whole situation. I know everybody's thinking that, oh, it's really bad form for James Gunn to play favorites with his projects. I mean, he's the guy that's writing the checks right now, so he can do what he wants, right? All right, so that's that. What is our next bit? Next bit is Super Mario. I've already kind of went on ad nauseum about the Super Mario situation. I'm excited about it because it is Super Mario, and honestly because the last time we saw a Super Mario movie, it was so god-awful. This one can only be better. But also, Illumination Studios does really good work, and because of that, because Illumination Studios is quality filmmaking in the animated realm, and it's Super Mario, and you have, regrettably, as much as I don't want to admit it, all of these big name people doing voices for these characters, that's going to be a huge draw. I think Super Mario could be the highest, very likely will be the highest grossing video game adaptation ever. I'm putting that one out right now into the world. I think that Super Mario Brothers, very likely the animated movie from Illumination Studios, is going to cross $1 billion, potentially even close to or more than $2 billion, because it is such a globally known and loved property. And they are going to be able to release it in China. So that's going to be huge for them as well. So yes, globally, I think this is going to be the biggest video game movie ever. Quote me on that. Next is Renfield. I just love Nicolas Cage and Nicholas Hoult, actually. The new trailer, the job for this is the impetus for me to put Renfield on this list. Because I was kind of lukewarm on the idea, but then they dropped the trailer and I was like, okay, I'm stoked on this. April 7th is Super Mario Brothers. April 14th is Renfield, so there's that. And then we're moving into more horror territory. So Mr. Christopher, if you are still around, you're going to appreciate this one. But we have more horror territory, and that is, I lost my window. Evil Dead Rise. Evil Dead Rise is a new story in the Evil Dead universe. Let's see if I can find some artwork for it. But Evil Dead Rise is not going to be a reboot. Let's go to Google, shall we? Let's do the Google thing. Google Images, baby. We'll pull it up that way to make this stream visually interesting. So Evil Dead Rise. Just dropped that trailer. Watched it for the first time, I think last night. Looks like it's going to be... Oh, that's not a good picture. Looks like it is definitely going to be worth a watch. I don't think that it's going to... I don't think it's going to be super original in a lot of ways. I don't think it's going to be anything that like really expands modern horror. I think it is going to be overly reliant on jump scares like most modern horror, but there is something to be said about movies that are in the middle of the pack or the top half of the middle of the pack that just do the thing well. Granted, they're doing the thing that everybody else does, but if they do it well, then that sets them apart. So you don't have to be the most original thing ever. There we go. That's a pretty cool one, actually. I really dig that. You don't have to be the most original thing ever. You can just put out a really quality horror movie, and if you're putting out a quality horror movie, then people are going to watch it. So I think that we're not breaking any new ground, but we don't have to, and that's where we're set on Evil Dead Rise. Next one, we're talking Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse 2. Or I guess the Spider-Man 2. So let's do... That's what we're looking up. Across the Spider-Verse. Right there. Across Spider-Verse 2. This is one of my favorite animated movies probably ever. Was the original one. I super dig the first Spider-Man movie. This is not an actual poster. Into the Spider-Verse was the first one. Across the Spider-Verse is the second one. There we go. That's the official poster. I really just the originality of the art, the ability of Sony to do the thing within the rigid restrictions of their contract with Marvel and still do something better than a lot of the Marvel stuff that we're getting. Yeah, I'm super stoked for the sequel to that movie. And we're going to get a lot more fan service in this movie because they already know that they're going to make $1 million or $1 billion off of it. So why not? Just all of the things point in a great direction. Spider-Man is definitely on the list. So June 2nd is the release date on that one. That moves us next to, and I know I said we didn't have a whole lot of superhero stuff, so we've got a kind of a chunk right here of superhero stuff, and then that's the last of it, honestly, unless you want to count Ninja Turtles, but we'll get to that. So next we're talking about Flash. This is not most anticipated because I think it's going to be good. This is most anticipated because I think it's going to be a train wreck, and I want to be here for that. Just everything that's been going on with Ezra Miller, everything that's been going on with the DC, the Warner Brothers Discovery merger and the creation of DC Studios and James Gunn taking over, and how they're going to spin this movie into something that, according to rumors, is going to set up the DCU going forward. And now we're also hearing rumors that they're going to be keeping Ezra Miller as the Flash potentially going forward, which is bizarre to me. This is a man who has been arrested no less than 3 times over the course of the last year and a half. Arrested, breaking the law. And they're like, nah, that's cool. But I mean, you know, if you have the wrong set of beliefs, then you're blacklisted from the industry. But yeah, it just whatever, man. This is going to be such a dumpster fire. Like, this is honestly the reason why I don't think we're going to get anything good from DC proper for a couple of years until James Gunn really gets his feet underneath him. I think we're going to have a couple of really big stinkers, and this is going to be the king of all stinkers that's setting up the road for that. And I really want to see it. So yeah, that's what we got. Blue Beetle, June 10th rather, is The Flash. Next is Blue Beetle. Like I said, Blue Beetle is one of my favorite of the younger characters. I don't want to say new character because Blue Beetle's technically been around for a long damn time, since the pulps of the 50s. But this version of Blue Beetle, the Jaime version of Blue Beetle, I really dig. I'm a big fan. I really like the stuff. I don't think this one's going to be a dumpster fire really at all. I think there's going to be a lot of liberties that they take for this movie, but I don't think it's going to be bad for that. But the reason I think this is going to be separate from The Flash is, like we already talked about, it's going to be self-contained, so it's not going to have any effect around anything around it, and everything around it's not going to affect it. But also because this started before all of the craziness with the merger and everything else started going down, so it's insular in that respect too, in that it's been going on in spite of the mergers and in spite of James Gunn and in spite of DC Studios and so on and so forth. So I think it's going to be a quality movie. I don't think it's going to be the best superhero movie ever. I think it's going to be a really cool introduction to a really cool character, and I want him to stick around for a long, long time going forward because, again, Jaime Reyes is a cool-ass character. August 18th is Blue Beetle. Next is Dune Part 2. Dune Part 2, November 3rd. I don't think I have to explain why this is on the list of most anticipated, because Dune Part 2... Here, let's pull up the art, shall we? Oh, we didn't pull up Blue Beetle. Oh, no, Blue Beetle art. Beetle. I can spell it. Blue Beetle movie. Huh. Right there. Oh, look at this. Oh, look at this. Look at that suit. That looks so badass. Sorry, I'm gonna nerd out here for a second because I've seen these pictures, but we haven't looked at them on stream. We looked at this one, I guess, on stream, but yeah, look, that just looks just like the comic and his Injustice iteration. That's him from Injustice. Yeah, I'm down for this. I'm super down for this. Zolo, what's his name? Maraduena is... It looks like he's gonna knock it out of the park. Like, to be 100% honest, I dig the kid in the Cobra Kai series. I think he has the chops. I think he has the look. I think that this is going to be a really fun superhero movie. Not gonna be great. Not gonna be the best. Again, not the best superhero movie ever, but gonna be a whole lot of fun. So anyway, Dune Part 2. I closed the window. I didn't mean to. Dune Part 2. Dune Part 2 is set for November 3rd. Denis Villeneuve is one of the greatest filmmakers of all time. We learned that in spades with the last movie and with I can't remember the Alien movie that he did, but that was sick. And then he did the Blade Runner 2049. That movie was fantastic. From a cinematography standpoint, it was a little long. There were, had its issues, but by and large, Denis does amazing work. And yeah, I totally loved Dune Part 1. I'm super excited to see how he adapts the half of that book, roughly. I think it's a little more than half where he cut off, but yeah. It's just gonna, and also, Timothée Chalamet is a goddamn acting god. This kid is holding session, like he is teaching you how to be an amazing actor. He has no right to be as good as he is, being as young as he is. And we just get to reap the benefits from his incredible talent in these movies, just because he is Paul freaking Atreides. There's no, I'm just gonna keep gushing. We gotta move on. So November 3rd, also November 3rd, is Godzilla. I like the Godzilla movies. I know we talked about the series a moment ago, and there was no I didn't have as much love for the series potential as I do for the movies, generally speaking. But Godzilla, the movies are always fun as long as you can sit through the human bits to get to the monster bits. I think they're always worth a watch, and sometimes the human bits are not easily sat through, so you kind of get mixed results there. But it's the human bits are always garbage. I just want to see monsters destroy stuff, man. That's what I want to see. So yeah, there's no further explanation needed there. November 3rd, Godzilla. Next is the Ghostbusters Afterlife sequel. No official title for this movie just yet, but we do have a release date of December 20th for this bad boy. Again, just that was such a quality movie with the first one that there's no reason to not be anticipating the second one. No real news on that. Moving right along, we have Rebel Moon. No release date for this one just yet. Let's see if we can pull up some production stuff. Rebel Moon is the Zack Snyder, not Zack Snyder. Good Lord. Zack Snyder? Yeah, Zack Snyder. Okay, I was right. My brain works. Rebel Moon is the Zack Snyder almost Star Wars movie that we've been keeping tabs on. This is the movie that he would have done if they would have let him do a Star Wars movie. But they didn't let him do a Star Wars movie, so he had to change some things to distance it from Star Wars. But I mean, Chiwetel Ejiofor. I'm sorry, I never pronounce his name right, and I hate the fact that I don't know how it's pronounced. But either way, he's an amazing actor. He looks like a badass in this production still. I'm really interested to see Zack Snyder's take on Star Wars, just because Zack Snyder is such a unique voice in film. Well, I don't know if that's necessarily accurate either. I always call him the poor man. I can't. Words and names and things are brain farting, and I apologize. We got to get to the end of this though. So yeah, Rebel Moon, Star Wars that's not Star Wars. I'm down for it. I would imagine this is going to be a fall release. I don't think they're going to let him release it for the holiday season at the end of the year, but I also don't think they're going to use it during their summer slate. I think they're going to use it to connect the two. So I would say, knowing nothing about the release date for it, that it'll probably see a late summer to early fall release on Netflix. I don't think it's getting a theatrical release at all. It's just going straight to Netflix. So next is another one that doesn't have a proper title, but it does have a release date, much like the Ghostbusters Quiet Place spin-off movie. This one is not going to be helmed by John Krasinski. It is going to be produced by him, but it is not going to be directed or written, I believe. He might be part of the writing staff, or he might just use his production or his producer abilities to influence the script and how it incorporates into the rest of the universe. Either way, I really dig the universe. There's definitely plot holes. Go watch the pitch meeting for it, and also the honest trailer for it, because they definitely point out the plot holes, but it's still a whole hell of a lot of fun. One of the best monster creature feature movies to come out in the last 20 years or so. Hell of a lot of fun. Really excited to see what the next movie is. How, it's not going to be a proper Quiet Place to deal with the family that we've come to know from the first two movies. It's just going to be in that world. So it'll be really interesting to see them expand that world. September 22nd is the release date for that one. And that brings us to a very interesting situation here on this most anticipated for 2023, and that is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, another animated movie for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's been since 2000, I want to say 4. We'll look it up real quick. Since we got the last animated movie. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, right there. There's pictures. This is apparently, that's not the art style. That's not accurate. That's not accurate. I think that might be accurate, kind of. That's definitely the art, the poster for it. No way. I don't think that's right either. Anyway, so Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, last time was the TMNT that came out after the abysmal third installation of the live-action movie series, and I'm very intrigued by this. I've been a Turtles fan since I was a little kid. It came out when I was in diapers, so I've kind of grown up with these guys. So it's very interesting to see all of the different iterations of it. This time we have Seth Rogen throwing his hat in the ring. I think he's just producing, though. I don't think he's writing this or directing. I think it's just his production company, and then somebody else is on top of it. Before I just start talking out my butt, hey, let's go there. IMDb. So director Jeff Rowe and Kyler Spears, written by Kevin Eastman, Peter Laird, and Brennan O'Brien. So I think they're giving Eastman and Laird credits because they created the characters, and Brennan O'Brien is the one who's bringing it to screen as far as the script goes. Again, Seth Rogen will be doing a voice and also producing. So let's go to cast and crew, see what IMDb has to say about it. So far, Evan Goldberg, Seth Rogen, and James Weaver, producers. Art department. They only have the 2 casts? Okay. Seth Rogen they don't even know who he's playing. They're just saying he's going to be a character. So I don't think that's accurate. Pretty sure he's just doing the production on this. I don't think he's actually going to be a voice, but somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, very interested to see how he's going to twist this, because he is becoming more political in his old age. Wondering if he's going to piss off the community at all. Very likely. But I mean, I'm always down for a new take on an old property. Next is Joker 2. We talked about this. I don't think there's a release date for this. Let's go look. I don't think there's a release date for this yet, but still no confirmation as to whether or not this is going to be a proper musical. They do keep billing it as a musical in some of the headlines and in some of the news releases, and in other ones they don't reference that at all, aside from the fact that Lady Gaga is going to be in it. So yeah, I won't be surprised if there is a musical number, because Joker's crazy. It takes place in Arkham. That makes sense. But a whole musical movie? I don't know, man. That's why it's on the most anticipated, because the first one was great. Joaquin Phoenix did amazing things with that character, that weird version of the character, but still, it was a great movie. Joaquin Phoenix is a hell of an actor, and it is not. This is the other thing that I think needs to be addressed again and again and again. The Joker movie exists in its own continuity. It is not the origin of the Joker that we have in the proper DC universe. It is a version of a story that may have happened. As the Joker says, if I have to have a past, I would prefer it to be multiple choice. That is hidden answer W on the multiple choice test. That is the Joker's past. So yeah, but still a fantastic movie. It's really cool to see different artists take on such a beloved property, and when it's done well, it doesn't have to be exactly like the comic books say it is. It just has to be done well, and that is very much evidenced by the first movie. So that's what we have there. Our final one for the movies is Wes Anderson. Wes Anderson is reportedly, this is kind of a good transition to the left field section, but Wes Anderson is reportedly putting out a new movie this year, and speaking of musicals, it is supposed to be a musical. So I believe this is a first for Wes Anderson. Wes Anderson is another one of those very unique voices in cinema these days, as I think has been done ad nauseum in the YouTube sphere as far as video essays go. One of the most studied filmmakers in recent history because of his uniqueness, and also one of the most celebrated, which is a little weird because of just how offbeat his stuff is. I dig it though. Very excited to see what he can do with a musical. So that is what we've got there. All right, chat, don't let me down. What are you guys looking forward to? I know there's some lurkers in here. What are you guys looking forward to for 2023 as far as movie releases go? Let's talk about that while I transition into the final portion of this. What am I looking at? Ooh. 52. All right, so the last bit of this is going to be the quickest because this is all stuff that I hope comes out this year. There's rumors that some of this stuff is going to be coming out this year, but it's not super likely that this stuff will be coming out this year. So, first up in music, we have the potential for a new Limp Bizkit record. I believe there was it Wes Borland? Let's go look. I'm pretty sure Wes Borland on his Instagram. Doodly doodly. Search. Wes Borland. Yeah, so here we go. So Wes Borland posting a picture about recording, and Fred Durst dropping the first comment with some fire and lightning has the rumor mill going. And also, if you remember, Wes said that when they were demoing songs for the last Limp Bizkit record, they had 30 plus songs, and what came out was only 30 minutes of music. There's a lot more music that they have sitting around in the Limp Bizkit files that very potentially could be released soon. So yeah, definitely a slim possibility, because honestly, if I'm honest with myself, I think the most likely scenario is that Wes is going to be putting out some Big Dumb Face, or judging by the amount of keyboards in this picture, probably Black Lightburn's material. So that seems to make the most sense, though I am hopeful. Honestly, if it's Black Lightburn's, I'm super stoked about that too, because I love that band as well. I think Wes Borland is a musical genius, not gonna lie. Not even gonna make two cents about that. The next thing from out in left field is gaming wise. We're talking about Killer Instinct. We haven't seen anything from Killer Instinct for some time. The project, for all intents and purposes, is pretty much dead as far as the game that was released on the Xbox One. That being said, we are now in a new console generation. It has been a minute since any of the supply issues have really affected sales for the said console generation, at least as far as Xbox is concerned. And this is a very popular property. I don't think we're going to see a game at all in 2023, but I do have hopes, again, long shot hopes, that we are going to hear some sort of news, be it rumor or otherwise, that there is some sort of Killer Instinct project in the works. Now, Killer Instinct for the Xbox One is very much playable on your Series console, so you can still play, and there's still a pretty healthy community there playing the game online. So if you're looking for a fight, you can find one. The game is awesome. Honestly, go watch some tournaments for Killer Instinct on the YouTubes, because there's really, really incredible stuff going on with that game. That's all I can really... let's pull... yeah, screw it. We're going next. We have a TV series on the list as well. We have the Friday the 13th TV series coming to... I think it was Peacock? Maybe it's Paramount. Let's see. Friday the 13th, the series. Not the one from the 90s. No. Let's go back to Google. Friday the 13th. Yeah, let's just do that because it'll give us something on the wiki, I bet. IMDb, wiki. Franchise. Oh, come on. Television. Crystal Lake. Nope. The wiki doesn't have anything on it. Weird. Oh, yeah. But so, now that the issues have been settled behind the scenes as far as who owns what rights for the Friday the 13th franchise, what's his name? I just read it. Pedowitz. Mark Pedowitz. Or no, that's the CW guy. Goodness. Either way, the guy who was arguing that he owned the rights to the name and not the character of Jason, but to the name of Friday the 13th, he is they're making a series. This is actively in pre-production. Last we heard about it though was many months ago. So very potentially they have moved or are going to be moving into actual production and then post, so we very probably are going to be seeing the series, if it is still moving forward, this year. Super hopeful for that, though I don't think the series is going to be any good. I'm just curious what this new version of Jason is going to be. So that is that, and then we have one final piece, and this one is actually a piece of literature, and that is, let's go back to the image search. We're going to look for Doors of Stone. So this book, Patrick Rothfuss, is very possibly the I don't know. I would say Rothfuss and George R.R. Martin are battling for the current Tolkien, the successor to the Tolkien throne. Because if you've not read the first two books in this series, the Kingkiller Chronicles, the first book is Name of the Wind, second book is I might have that backwards. No, that's right. First book is Name of the Wind. Second book is Wise Man's Fear. There have been a number of smaller installations into this universe, but not a mainline story. These books are amazing. Rothfuss can write with the best of them. This guy just knows what you want and how to give it to you. This book has been, according to Rothfuss, has been in the editing phase, so written and, kind of paring down and tightening up the story for like 4 or 5 years or more at this point. I'm hopeful we will get, look, even here, this is posted to Kingkiller Wiki. This is from Rothfuss, I'm pretty sure. That looks just like his office. What the hell? What is that? Whatever. All right. So yeah, very hopeful that we're going to be getting some sort of update as far as the release, and even more hopeful that release is going to be by the end of 2023, because I'm dying to read the final book in this series. And not for the least of which, because there's like 5 main plot threads that are going right now that need to be wrapped up in a single book. And that's a lot of ground to cover in this world, because this world is immense. So yeah, there's the first book, Name of the Wind, and here you go, Name of the Wind, Wise Man's Fear. These are the first 2 books. Read them now if you haven't, because they're amazing. And that is our left field category for this stream. It is a bit of a longer stream than usual. We're looking at just under 2 hours, but appreciate you all for sticking around, even you lurkers in here. Much appreciated. Thank you very much, nerds. Now, real quick reminder, we will not be returning next week for a stream. However, if everything goes as planned, we will return the following week with our regular schedule, which means Wednesday's regular show that I pre-record and do all the editing and do all the stuff, and then Friday's live stream. So, and then also starting the new series for That Just Happened, which is just our general conversation of interacting with these properties in the nerd sphere. So, I love your faces. Thank you very much, nerds, for joining. We got to get out of here, man. It's been a long stream. I did not expect to talk this long, and still have the text on screen. Whatever. Thank you very much, nerds, for joining. We'll see you in 2 weeks for your regularly scheduled program, not the off season. It will be the beginning of season 5 for you mainline channel people, and for the rest of you, it's somewhere between season 3 and season 4. So we'll see you in the next one, nerds. Thank you very much. I gotta head out. Before I do, always remember that if it's generally nerdy, it's probably here.